Hey guys, Matthew Morrow, MorrowInvest.com. I wanted to go over today one of the things that I do for investors sometimes. You know, there are all kinds of ways that you can add value and create income for yourself. And one of the ways that I've been able to do this is through my research. And a lot of investors, especially first-time investors, you know, they might not want to join your mentorship course. They might want to do it on their own, or maybe they've been doing it on their own for a while and they just don't know all the little tricks you use. They also sometimes will be out of town, and so depending on where they are, they might not be able to break away from their current job. A lot of these guys that are investors actually have full-time gigs and are not able to break away, and so because I've been really blessed with my rental properties and things, I'm able to do research and travel and things. So I just wanted to show you guys yet another way that I try to add value to when I help other investors, and that is by giving them everything. So a lot of investors are really just out for themselves, and you know, once they get their deal, that's all they care about. Well, there's a lot of deals that I either do not want, or they're not in my wheelhouse, or you know, they're not in the zip code that I buy in or whatever, but I will still be glad to work with other investors and help them to develop a plan. And so what I'm showing you here is it's in my Google Drive, and this is just an example of one house. I've tried to block off anything for the actual address and anybody's names or anything specific I might have put in there. But I just wanted to show you this. So this is an example of something that I would do for an investor. This particular investor was out of town and did not have the time or resources to come travel, take time off of work, and all that kind of stuff. So I charged a $1,000 consulting fee for this, and basically the reason that's worth it is hopefully you'll see the value here. Is not only do I do a walkthrough video, which I'll add after we go through these few slides here. So I do a detailed walkthrough video showing them the actual repairs, showing them the things that I think need to be done to the house, and of course part of the plan is deciding whether or not you want to flip this, whether you want to buy and sell, buy and rent, whether you want to hold it for a time, whether you want to buy and sell the note, whether you want to be in this area. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with real estate, and so there's not a kind of a one-size-fits-all. So I do a detailed analysis of the property and the area per my experience. And again, I'm not a realtor and I'm not a banker. I'm an investor, so I'm looking at the numbers, and I use what I know from my contractors and my own experience of what things cost repair-wise. Now that is going to change depending on what part of the country you're in, but I could go anywhere. My mom used to say in her catering business that she'll go as far as your paycheck will write. So I will be glad to travel if you guys need me to, and we can work those details out if you need me to go and do research for you on a property. I love traveling, I love meeting new people, and I love real estate, so I'll be glad to do that. This particular deal was just $1,000, so we would work out other details if we had to travel. If I had to go to Washington State or Oregon or somewhere across the country, we can work those details out. But inside this, you'll notice there's a video file, so there's 3 videos, and I'll put all 3 of those in here together. And then I use a lot of different resources from Renometer.com. I do analysis from bestplaces.net that goes over all of the demographics, incomes, the economy, all those kind of things. We have Realtor.com, Zillow, and I even put a note in there, and you'll see this here in a second. I put a note in there that that you never want to use Realtor.com, Zillow, or Trulia as your base for your numbers. You need to let your numbers stand alone. And it's always funny because there's a lot of people that when I say, what is it that you want to make, they don't know. So one of the things that I do, and you'll see this in the spreadsheet is after the video I'll show you the actual spreadsheet that I do, and I do a detailed breakdown of all the repairs, all the upgrades that I believe need to be done. And if you give me enough details, I can help you with your ROI, and whether if you're trying to flip it, how you're getting your money. Sometimes people will just ask me for all the details and they don't want to let me know what. In this particular case, they didn't let me know how they were getting their money. And the reason that matters is because you might have two different, if you have short-term money, then that might mean you want to do a flip because you got to get in, make your money, and get out. Whereas if you have long-term money like bank financing, you can go for the long term, and then that means you're working more with cash flow. So it just changes what you're trying to do. So the way you get your money and how you get your money and how long you get to have that money will help determine what kind of projects you're able to do, whether it be a flip or whatever. So again, this particular deal cost $1,000, and I was able to go do this research. This took about 3 days to compile everything, run all my numbers, and I was able to share the Google Drive folder with the investor, and we kind of did a half up front, half after, using a Square Reader. We can also use Stripe or PayPal or money transfer. There's lots of different ways to get paid, so I'm not worried about that. I know that what my value is, and so I don't mind working with other investors and giving the property. I tell people all the time, I'm not in competition with anybody because there's so many properties out there that if you're busy working on 10 houses at once, there's still hundreds and hundreds of houses out there. So it's and we're just doing research here. So and if you lose a bid, that's fine. You'll get the next one. So no worries. So anyway, enjoy this little peek into what I do. I'm going to show you the video. It's about 15 minutes long. It's inside and outside, and it's walking around. The only thing you don't get is the smell, which I wish you could get the smell when I do these videos, because some of these houses are pretty bad that you get sit in. And then lastly, I'll go over the spreadsheet when we get to the end of the video. Thanks, guys.
Doing another walkthrough on a house here. This one is currently for sale for about $32,000. You can see here, this is the door frame. Door's been kicked in. Place will be a complete gut. You need to paint all the rooms. The room is surprisingly a large house. They've probably done several additions onto it. We'll see that in just a second. You need in this room 1, 2, 3 plugs, 4 plugs, excuse me, 4 plugs. You're going to need to do the ceiling as well as all the paint. You need a new ceiling fan. You can see they didn't dust on anything. You might can just clean the ceiling fan. He said that this front fireplace did not work. They stole the copper out of the off the lines and things, so you'd have to either enclose this in and just shut it up and not have one, or redo the whole thing here. I'm going to go into these bedrooms here. Again, all door hardware, possibly replacing several of these doors, new paint. You can notice here that these are 2-prong because this house was built in the 1940s. You're going to have old wiring, so you might consider rewiring the whole house. I know it's an expense, but you're going to continually run into problems. You can see there's holes here in the wall from the door handle. There's more holes. Also, the floor, as you're walking around, the flooring, you might not can tell from just seeing it, but the flooring, because this house is not on a slab, it's on a crawl space and bricks, that the floor is uneven as you walk through the house. This room needs a ceiling fan. It needs 1 light cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plug covers. You can see here these have been replaced with the new 3-prong light cover plug covers, but the wiring, I'm sure, was not upgraded. I'm sure they just replaced the plug with that. Some of the windows have window locks and bars, but some don't. You know, if you turn this into a rental, you have to have at least one window that will open. And of course, it looks like all this has been, this all needs to be replaced. You might even need to replace the entire window if you decide to do blinds, faux wood blinds or regular. But you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, as the house goes down to the right here, all the flooring and stuff is not level. Again, a lot of this, see, that's rotten. That wood around that base of that window is rotten. So you might have to replace these windows, and you might actually be pulling back more. Obviously, the flooring, and as I've walked around, there's softness in some of the floors. There's even holes. I don't know how you get holes in the closet, but there's actually holes in this little closet. This is probably where either the furnace or the water heater used to be. The alarm system does not work, needs to be replaced. As you walk into this bathroom, you can see they did these little dollar tiles you can buy that are just stick downs. Same thing with like this little piece here. You know, he's done the best he could, but these guys who rented it, you can see that it's been ripped off, so all this would need to be replaced. There's the original tile there underneath there, and then here you can see that they've come in the back and ripped out all that copper and the fixtures, including up here. You see also lead paint. You can see where the old paint is cracking. Again, here's more windows that are busted out, and there's some bubbling on these. These old sliding windows might need replacing. Oh, that's interesting. Here's you some free shampoo if you need some free stuff here. Let's see. Oh, man. There was a smell that came out of there. Ugh. Okay. For the most part, the house does not smell, but that smelled. The power's not on, so I can't check certain things, but and the water is not on, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You can see there's roof leakage and damage here. Lots of spots where the roof is leaking. Of course, water is our enemy. You can see here where the drywall's actually falling down. This is certainly not to code here. You got they got cable in every room. That's always they won't take care of the place, but they got cable. Again, you can't tell here, but most of these windows I would consider replacing them, and you can see where there's been rot before. You can't see there, but at the corner there's rot. Let's see, this room would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plug covers and a ceiling fan. There's a closet here. This floor is uneven as we're walking around. This is a closet. Of course, every single thing has holes. There's holes everywhere. There's, I don't know, you hear that? And especially walking in here to the bathroom. This is really spongy here. And that happens a lot with, you can see here that people have broken in and still use the commode, and see how this little unit isn't even touching the wall. See that? There's a 4 or 5 inches back there from the wall. The shower, which used to probably be kind of nice, has been, I don't even know. This is certainly not the code. This is just an add-on where somebody just took it upon themselves to build onto the house. It's certainly not any kind of code. You can tell where his AC unit was stolen. Again, we've got in here, we've got 1, 2, 3, and you can see where it's coming off. 4, 5, 6 light covers. He said that this was a gas fireplace, but it has been the copper gas pipes have been ripped out of the back, so that fireplace is not working either. You see these mismatched, see all this mismatched stuff? It's kind of bright here. Let my camera, you can't see this, but this is just random pieces of trim that he's put up around this that is not actually, these, see, you can't tell, but these are different This is a different kind of trim. This is housing trim here that he's using for these windows. It's not actually window trim. Again, so I would probably think, and you can see here on the ceiling where this is popping off, coming off, and of course a wonderful ceiling fan. But you can, I think that being a 1940s house, you should definitely expect that as you're pulling up this carpet and then pulling up the subfloor, that you're going to find more problems underneath, especially where water is and where it's spongy. This is the kitchen. I don't know if you can see the level of when the last time this thing was cleaned. This back door, he's actually got nailed up because the back door was actually ripped off. And so he's stuck this door in place. You see it's not connected or anything. And he's there's a piece of plywood on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 light plugs in here. You can see here that the flooring is spongy, and it's 2 different heights where my feet are. This is the right foot's actually lower than here. Here's probably the original. This is how the house probably originally looked in 1940s. You can see the copper roping, and of course none of this is to code. I mean, if the city inspector came in here, none of this is to code. There's rot, there's peeling. Again, this addition was probably just an addition that they put on, not that it's any good. This is actually a window here that's been covered with a board, and this is another window, and you can see it's been completely sealed up. This window will not open, and neither will this one. And of course, this one won't either. This is wood. And as I'm walking here, there's sponginess as well on the floor. And of course, none of this is coated. You can see they ripped the copper piping out. That's actually a good sign that you have a breaker box instead of screw-in plugs. You can see that this door is completely ripped off. Of course, these cabinets would need to be replaced. This whole unit would have to be replaced. The cabinets, where the sink goes, and he said he would turn the water back on, but all the pipes got stolen. So they stole the sink and the pipes. It's got gas for the oven. Of course, you could change that if you were planning on rewiring the house anyway. I would suggest just going electric, but that's up to you. And again, it being this old of a house, you might get away with keeping these cabinets. But everything, you can see everything that's been touched. It needs a major cleaning. As we come into this, another little dining room den kind of thing here. All this molding would need to come off. Again, here's another view of another ceiling fan. Let that focus. All right. And he had this air conditioner was taken as well. Again, this is all just about 2 blocks from the governor's mansion. So it's kind of interesting. You come into this room. It's got several rooms. I mean, the place is a nice size place, especially for the area. You can see these furnace. That is a gas furnace sitting on carpet. I mean, that's not good. Not good at all. I would doubt that many of these, if any of these windows open. You definitely need to check that out. Again, as I'm walking down this room, I'm kind of walking downhill. We'll have to check on the outside. These windows have 2 separate sets, so one slides up and one slides down. But again, I would consider replacing them if you were going to go to that expense anyway. And you can see this odd border. This is nearly a foot. This is nearly a foot from top to bottom. That's kind of unique. That's a nice word, unique. Again, here's more cracking where either the drywall wasn't done correctly or the house is settling. Again, replace the door. At this point, I don't even know if I should count plug covers anymore. We're back in the living room, and I'll do a second video. I'll do a second video for the outside. Hey, I found the water heater. I must have missed this room. You can see here the exposed wiring, and then this unit here, this is not the code for current code, so it doesn't have an expansion tank. And you can see they took all the copper wiring off of it and everything. It's a gas base. He just told me that they also stole the oven that was here in this little area. Let me back up so you can see this room. And his you can see up there, that's his ADT alarm system that they ripped everything they could out of it. To the street, it's a nice little street. You can see people that live here, and then it's right across the street from a really nice little church. You can see this is all from the backyard. He's taking all this stuff out of the backyard. We're going to go down the left side here. As you can see from the house, just from the right off the bat, before you get up to the house, you can see that it needs a new roof. There's big holes. You can see here and here on the fascia board. Nearly all the fascia board needs replacing. There's just rot. Lots of places you can see as we walk around to see the windows that the actual boards, there's rot, as well as things are coming off here. And it's just, it's just a matter of things take time. After a while, time catches up. You can see here where he's tried to combat the squirrels, where the squirrels and critters are getting in the house. Privacy fence broken here. You can see that whole area has been busted out. See the tree from the neighbor's house, and the state law says that even though those trees are on the other person's property, that legally you can cut anything that's over the line. So you could actually go straight up and cut all of this off of the house and still be within your rights. You can see there the gas meter. I don't know if you can see right here where the gas tank sits. The gas tank has been stolen or removed by the gas company. Let's go back around this way. Oh, you can also see that. See this? This is cable. So even though this house is in such bad shape, they had cable in nearly every room. Mr. Potts has already left, and but we're going to walk around the outside. Again, you can see the roof and the fascia boards. Large holes here. Nearly all of the windows need replacing. We're going to go around the side here. Yeah, see how all this rot. See, that's all rotted. Needs to be replaced. All that spongy has been kept up. Of course, the back gate has been ripped off. You can see this is back where the laundry room was. This is the laundry room here. And he's done a lot of work back here, but there's still a lot of work to do. I don't know that shed is even doable. This thing here is called a popcorn tree, and popcorn trees, I don't know that I've ever seen a popcorn tree that large. They grow and they break. All these little branches fall off and break off of these things. Here's the back door. He said that was a security door. They actually ripped the security door off and stole it to recycle for money. Again, the roof, the fascia boards, all this stuff needs to be replaced. Again, this is not legal if you have a bedroom. Every room in a rental property has to have a window that will open. Of course, those obviously can't open. As we come into the backyard, it's a decent sized backyard. You can tell that it used to be pretty. Let me get out of the sun so you can see. It used to be pretty. There's a little brick pathway that kind of goes all the way around, even back to the back area, and it circles around here. So this used to be kind of nice, had a barbecue grill and all back here, but just time and bad tenants have taken it over. Again, you can see here the whole face.
All right, guys, so I hope you were riveted by my audio. Probably not. But the exciting thing is not all these houses are war zones like this one was. Sometimes, I have several other videos. If you guys want some more of these, I'll be glad to show you. where I've done walkthroughs. We're working on one right now that should profit us between $50,000 and $70,000, which is exciting. And so, here I do a full breakdown, detailed list with numbers, with everything that needs to be repaired. I include all of this as part of the consulting fee, giving, of course, my opinion on what things need to be done, what your options are, if there's even an option. And here to the right, I actually do a breakdown. Once I've done all the numbers, I've got the property tax information. I pull plus comps, plus sometimes I'll get a CMA report, and then there's also a paragraph here that is a breakdown of what I believe the area is like, visually what it's like, economy, and of course how the neighborhood is selling or not selling, or what I think the place needs. So hopefully this will give you an idea of some of the things that we as investors do, and how we break down the numbers. You might not be able to see all the numbers there, but that's fine. The goal is, though, to add value. By the way, this is what I believe. I've said this many times, that I am not a wholesaler, nor do I really like wholesaling. But if you are a wholesaler, this is the type of thing you should do to add value when you are talking to investors. I guarantee you will make a lot more money if you will educate yourself, or pay for a mentor and get educated on how to do proper research on properties, and then that will then add value. Not only will it make you a better investor, but then when you speak intelligently to other investors and you add value by doing the research for them, they don't have to just come up with stuff, and they don't have the time, right? That's the thing, is they don't have the time to leave what it is they're doing and the projects they're working on. And what this allows them to do is within about 15 minutes, they not only get a full walkthrough of the property, but they get a full breakdown of all the numbers, and most investors can make a pretty good decision on whether or not they want to buy, sell, rent, fix, flip, whatever they want to do. And so it's much, much better. Anyway, guys, hope you have a blessed day. Let me know if you want any more of these videos. Don't forget, if you'll go to MorrowInvest.com and sign up for our newsletter, I'll send you a free copy. You'll not only get a #1 business strategy, but you'll also get a copy of my first book, 30 Jobs in 30 Days. Follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get more into that. And also, I've got some of my more personal stuff on Instagram, just journeys that I'm on, things that I'm doing throughout my day. And I hope you guys are encouraged. Let me know if you need anything. Hope you guys have a blessed day.